So how do we know if the innovation that we're committed to is just right? Just like Goldilocks experiencing porch that was a little bit too hot or a little bit too cold, or a chair that was a little bit too hard or a little bit too soft, contrasting experiences with the challenges of implementing innovation can help our organizations find their sweet spot. The just right amount of innovation is likely to vary substantially from organization to organization. Your organization's leadership and your culture will likely dictate your appetite for change. Organizations that have experienced the benefit of past innovation will be a lot more likely to initiate new changes. So, do the changes you're leading inspire people or hinder their performance? Do people come forward with new ideas as a result of the changes you've led? Or are they more likely to keep their ideas to themselves rather than ending up with extra work? In order for innovation to be effective, you must eliminate whatever is out of alignment with your users' core needs. Does your solution meet your users' needs? Does it stay within budget? Do you box people in with overly rigorous specifications, or do you leave room for creativity by specifying a minimum acceptable performance?
Don't let narrow specifications box you in or limit creativity and problem solving. I had a successful innovation experience in our laboratory with implementing a new LIMS system. The old system was custom made and about 20 years old with no way to update the system. The company who built the software had changed names, personnel, and no longer had licensing rights. Using the older system was cumbersome when compared to current LIMS options. There was no way to edit samples once created. We had to create a whole new login. The identified need was for a system having several ways of performing the same task, budget-friendly, wonderful software support, and was off the shelf. We have been using the selected system since 2014, and it is still relevant. Much of our effort when researching LIMS went into finding just the right fit for a small municipal utility laboratory. So many of those who bid on our project promised all the bells and whistles. But you have to ask yourself, do I really need that? Just like, do you really need a crock pot that is hooked to the Wi-Fi? Or our just right technology had to be mainstream and have a depository for data that was easily retrievable, but didn't need a billing component as we do not invoice. We had a few vendors whose bids were so bare bones that their system wouldn't even export data to Excel. So we purchased the software that was just right, within budget, just enough bells and whistles, but didn't overbuy. And we bought a system that had capabilities to add on modules if we need them in the future without having to purchase a whole new software package. Implementing new software to existing employees can be the hardest part of innovation. People are inherently creatures of habit, but keeping the existing non-functional software is also not a choice. Currently, we are implementing software for the pre-treatment department. The old non-functional program is replaced by a data-driven, trackable, and enables the department to become streamlined and more efficient, and ultimately will enable to enforce current policies and procedures for both the FOG program and industrial users. People are afraid of failure and change because innovation is hard.
Innovation is hard. According to Harvard Business School professor Clayton Christensen, 95% of all product innovations fail. And according to the Startup Genome Report, 92% of all startups fail. If your organization is serious about encouraging innovation, then acceptance of failure has got to be a part of your organizational culture. AstroTeller, the leader behind X, formerly known as Google X, is so committed to the idea of learning from failure that he publicly praises his teams when they announce the failure of their assignments. In fact, he's been known to offer tropical vacation getaways as an incentive to those who can prove that their assignments fail the fastest. Obviously, this is not a best practice if you're not running a moonshot factory. But the point remains. If you want to be serious about encouraging innovation within your organization, you have to be willing to fall on your face every now and again. At San Jose Water, we recently trialed a sensor designed for monitoring wastewater treatment systems and installed it in a potable water storage tank. We did this so we could see if we could gain any operational labor-saving benefits. We've yet to see any gains so far, but we understand that the opportunity to improve was worth the time invested. Also, the willingness to try and fail ensures greater gains from innovation long-term for our organization. Thermal stratification is a widely recognized water quality impairment. As we went about trying to solve this problem, our operations team was intent on trying to keep maintenance simple. What that meant for us was trying to keep electrical and mechanical components outside of the tank. There was one commercially available solution that utilized a recirculating pump to mix the tanks, and this met our criteria. Additionally, the introduction of a recirculating pump gave us an opportunity to address another problem, suboptimal disinfectant residual. Without adequate disinfectant residual, water facilities can become more vulnerable to bacteriological contamination. The traditional solution to this is just to dump bleach in the hatch. However, this can lead to a whole host of other problems. For example, bleach is denser than water, so as it sinks to the bottom, it can go out as a slug and cause taste and odor complaints from customers who receive kind of swimming pool-ish water. Additionally, it can cause additional corrosion around the area of the hatch, and in most cases, there's no safe way for staff to move large volumes of disinfectant residual from the ground up to the top of tall storage tanks. San Jose Water partnered with a local equipment manufacturer to develop a recirculating mixing system capable of drawing disinfectant from a safe ground-level location inside the tank to be delivered to a point of high mixing energy so that it could become dispersed throughout the tank. This solution gave us a superior way to manage disinfectant residual in our distribution system. It's a clear example of letting a well-defined problem drive your solution.
If you recall from Tom Ferguson's presentation, during the Technology and Innovation Workshop, Einstein's law, to solve a problem, spend 90% on the problem and 10% on a solution. This is so important to remember. There must be a problem in order for a solution to exist. Tom also stated, build what people need to solve their problem. One instance of solving a problem just right is the company Chick-fil-A. My daughter began working as a team member right before they innovated their drive-through line. So I had a behind-the-scenes view of just how well thought out this solution was. Chick-fil-A was at an impasse. Customer service is a top tenet of Chick-fil-A. But these drive-through lines were possibly causing customers to eat elsewhere. According to an article in the Foundation for Economic Education, the fast food restaurant operates at least 3 innovation centers. In these centers, they test restaurant layouts to maximize efficiency. During the time of my daughter's employment, one of these centers tested this idea of using tablets to take orders and process payments within the drive-through line. I was so impressed with how the company saw a need and immediately responded. It became an instant sensation. During the vaccination startup, it became a meme to let Chick-fil-A coordinate vaccinations because their drive-through coordination was so successful.
Following these tips can lead to a culture of innovation that's not too hot,
not too cold,
but just right.